All right. You good there, Brent, with your recorder device?
Very specific. We're ready to go.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Calling to order this evening's Conshohocken Borough Authority's monthly meeting. Today is December 15th. Before we get started, let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance this evening, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty. Before we get started, did we have any public comment come in related to the agenda or anything going on?
No, we have
Okay.
not.
And we have no public comment in the room, so we'll go right into our agenda items. No invited guests this evening?
No.
All right. No executive session for anything do we need?
I don't believe so.
I like to have a small one at the end.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we going to take any action?
No.
Okay, then we
Okay.
can adjourn and go into executive report on this next if we want.
Okay, perfect. All right. So, first item on our agenda this evening is the approval of the November 18th, 2025 minutes. Anyone have a question related to any of the minutes that we had in front of us?
There was just one thing I found that just needs to be corrected on the third page, Executive Director's Report. It just says a motion was made by Aparna and seconded by Aparna. So,
Okay.
I think someone else seconded.
All right. So, with that edit, do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda this evening is going into our report section and the financial reports. First item on the financial reports. Hold on, I need my glasses. We need to go up to 20 font, I think. All right. So were there any questions related to the accounts payable or revenue reports that we received?
I had some questions.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm full of questions tonight.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I guess so. There were two charges for the digital media productions for that month. For 10/28, there was one in the amount of $437.50, and one for $500. Why was there two charges? Anybody know?
It could have been just for the prior month.
Can I help that? Because they both say BCA board meeting on 10/28.
And that was on a credit card. Right,
Let's see, where was that one?
I don't know.
we haven't really known that.
It's under Foster Digital Media Productions LLC.
DE, there it is, at the bottom of the third page.
3, yeah.
Two different invoice numbers.
Yeah.
I figured there had to be a reason for it because there's a total. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I see that there's like a grand total, so there's logic there, but I just wasn't sure why there's two charges. And the,
I see what you're saying, it's both, they have both the same date on it.
yeah.
I will look into that, but I know that we pay that usually by a credit card, so.
Okay, and then there were two toll charges. Because Vinnie went
They had to
To
drive
Baltimore?
down to drop off our camera truck for repair.
So was there, like, see, there's a charge that says Maryland Transportation Authority, and that was for 2611?
Yep. Yeah.
And then there's one for Vinnie for $9. So I was curious, is that two different trips?
There was two vehicles.
Oh, two vehicles. Okay, that's why.
They
Okay,
drove them down separate, well, came back together in one.
makes perfect sense. Those were my only questions.
Okay. Anyone else have any other questions or concerns? Okay, pending that review that Brent will do on the media, it looks like we've got accounts payable in the amount of $132,725.88. Do I hear,
Make a motion to pay the bills.
okay, I have a
Second that.
motion. And do I have a second? And then we'll do a roll call. Go ahead, call it, Brent.
Yes.
Yes. Jack Ambler, yes.
Jack Ambler, yes.
Turn your signs around.
No, I know, Jack. Tina,
Yes.
Klarna,
Yes.
and Christina.
Yes, you can call me Chris.
Okay, motion carries. Just through here.
So the first thing on the agenda is our colonial specialty insurance dealing with our workman's compensation. We only, from 2024 to 2025, there's only a $16 deviation of an increase. So that is a positive to speak in regards to our workman's comp insurance.
So that's for the 2026 workman's comp policy year?
Yes, this will be the 2026, only a $16
Okay.
increase for next year. And again, we would require approval of that through the board.
And that's an increase per employee?
No, total increase. We went from $17,671 for this prior year, and next year will be $17,687.
Oh, good deal.
So in conjunction with our, if you recall, last year we had some workers' comp items, but this year it's been a good year.
All right. Any questions on the workers' comp policy for
That's the-
2026?
That's the whole year for 17,000? Okay, nice, okay, great.
All right.
Do we have to make a motion per invoice?
Yes, we had the,
No, you're just approving the
Just approve it?
renewal of
The
the
new-
comp policies.
I'll make a motion to approve the renewal.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item is flood insurance policy renewal.
and good news on that, dealing with Selective insurance, there is no increase from last year to this year. So there's a recommendation to proceed with Selective insurance again.
Anyone have any concerns about going with selective insurance?
Just to, so it's $2,800 a year again? And it covers us for 500,000 of,
For flood insurance,
okay.
exactly.
Just for the, I guess that's not gonna cover a lot if we do ever get flooded, I guess, right? But,
No. There are so many exclusions with this type of flood insurance that the 500,000 is probably more than enough for what would actually be covered. So
Okay.
if our vehicles get flooded, that's going to be covered by our vehicle insurance. So.
okay.
They don't cover any of the treatment plant stuff. It's got to be inside of a roof, and it's only the things in each side of a roof, and that's for each building. So we don't have that much in each of the individual buildings.
Yes, we don't have that much in each of the buildings. So that's why, the way it's broken out, that there's not that much there.
No, one thing beneficial, if you recall, we had the, I call that massive flood that occurred up to Green Lane, which you're talking, I don't know, Fred, was that a 500-year storm for this year?
Absolutely, yeah.
And the water didn't hit the plant.
Yeah.
So the way the plant's been built, you're in a
Yeah,
good.
you're above it.
Great.
And if it gets to the plant, we may have bigger problems. Start looking for an arc.
There you go. All right. Any other questions related to the flood insurance? Do I have a motion for renewal of the flood insurance?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All right. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. That looks like it concludes what's on the financial report.
That's correct.
So do I have a motion to accept the financial report into record?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We're rolling right along. We're going right into the solicitor's report.
Thank you. Only one action item this evening. All of the resolutions regarding the rate increases and those things are under Brent's report. So all we have is your consideration of an approval for a contract for professional services for a project located at 440 East 9th Avenue, Conshohocken. The developer is Catania Construction, LLC. And as always, if you have any specific questions about the project, those are best directed to Brent, Ed, or Fred.
Anyone have any questions about the 440 East 9th Avenue professional services?
We talked about it last month.
We did, which one was this? Which one was this one? That was the,
It's a local developer
that's like the wine bar thing or whatever it was?
No, this isn't the wine bar.
This is, they knocked one house down and putting two up, so it's a single connection, a new connection to our system.
Okay, cool, thank you.
All right, any other questions? Hearing no other questions, do I have a motion to approve the contract for professional services for the project located at 440 East 9th Avenue and the developer's Catania Construction, LLC?
I make the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
And that concludes our report, and other than pointing out that there's a little token of our appreciation from Lauren and I and Nicole and everyone, and on a freezing cold night like tonight, the hot chocolate may come in handy, so thank you for a great year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, hearing no other solicitor report items, do I have a motion to accept the solicitor's report into record?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Excellent. And rolling right into our engineer's report.
Yep. First item is contract 25-1, which is our electrical upgrade. Pleased to announce that we're ahead of schedule and the equipment is being delivered a lot faster than we thought. So we're rolling in good. They're actually, we were thinking it was 5 to 7 months to get the MCCs in there. And we're going to start, we have them, and we're starting to install them beginning in February. So they're mobilizing, putting the temporary power up in the middle of January. And end of January, we're actually hitting the first MCC. The goal is to get one MCC done every month, and hopefully we can better that. But that would have us basically being done with our MCCs in June, automatic transfer switch in July, and that's the beginning of July. And then we have basically 2 months to test it and get our final payment in. So I got a 60-day slide right there, and we're hoping to pick up, knock on wood, probably 2 months in between there. So if everything stays there, just because our grant is due September 30th. And on the grant, we had the first payment request to HB Frazer. It's in the amount of $44,145. This really covers the cost of their bonds, the assembly of temporary power, which they're putting up, so we have to temporarily power things, so they have to pre-build that. That's all pre-built, mobilization, and shop runs. Really, the goal of the first payment request is to get this through the DCED and the CFA as soon as possible. The first application takes anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks for them to process it. So you have to front the money, and then they reimburse you. All subsequent ones are about 2 weeks. So that's why we wanted to get a first payment request that wasn't on a $2 million contract, not a substantial amount of money, but to start that timeline as soon as possible. So I will look for a recommendation to approve payment request number 1 to HB Frazer in the amount of $44,145.
Any additional questions related to the application for payment number 1?
Going back to your your very first sentence, you used 2 letter designations. What's a CFA?
Okay, on that, that's the Commonwealth Financing Authority.
Okay.
They are the ones that awarded us the grant. DCED is the Community Development and Economic, or is it? The Community Development, Economic Development. They're the ones who actually process. They have the staff. CFA is a board. The DCED is the actual staff that processes and does all their day-to-day work. That's where the state employees are. So, and they're the ones who awarded us the grant. So they got to go through, and when we do that, they've already pre-approved their contractor, but they'll double check he doesn't have any current liens, he doesn't, that there's no one there that has anything, that there's been no violations from the time that we award the contract to they process the first one, that they do that regulatory check, and that's why it takes so long. There's a number of people that have to sign off on it. Once they've signed off on it and it's entered into the system, if there's an issue, they'd automatically be flagged. And in here, you got a 9-month contract. Somebody could not pay their, federal taxes halfway in between. And their goal is that they don't want to be paying grant money to someone that's not paying the federal or state government.
Thank you.
When you were saying, I remember a couple times ago, maybe it's not relevant anymore, but you're saying when they're going to get in there, that would be when you'd find maybe any issues with the old equipment as you pull, kind of,
No.
okay, so.
I literally, I have to, no one's seen behind this MCC in 30 years.
Yeah.
Until I pull it out and I see the actual wires in the back. And what was Frankenstein 20 years ago or 10 years ago, I don't know that. So we're taking, and that's why we have a month in between all of them, because we could literally do one each week. But the problem is if I hit something, I got to deal with it.
So any of these kind of, each time you're doing a new one, you might
Each time
find
I'm
something
doing
or not.
one,
That's where we'd start getting
Exactly.
potential
Yep.
issues. Or,
It's an existing, electrical system that hasn't really been touched much in 30 years. Really well designed. We haven't had any problems with it, but, I don't know what happened in 1997, where it was a midnight issue and somebody went in there was starter burned up and there's fire back there, damage, I don't think there's anything. I haven't seen the warning flag, or they're like, oh, because I asked them, I said, if there's going to be an issue or one that you're concerned about, can we do that first?
yeah.
And he said, Fred, we really haven't seen one, so we're going to do it kind of logically, going down through. The only good and bad is that we were planning on all this work being done over the summer, so we wouldn't have temporary heat. So I did have to rearrange my schedule so that I pushed the ones with heat until May, June, and July. And anything without heat, I could move forward. So, my initial sequence of construction was juggled just because I thought I had 4 to 7 months to get equipment. I ordered it in November. I'm thinking I'm not seeing that till May. April, May. I got it already in February, so.
Do you do oversight for this then?
Yes.
Okay.
It's both us and Keystone.
Okay.
So both of us, and we're both reviewing the shop drawings, and depending on what is there, would be either my inspector or Keystone's inspector.
Okay.
And that is part of the grant. There is an allocation in there that will reimburse you for that and the match funds as well. So you're actually going to utilize, when we submit we have a 50% of grant amount, or 33% of the project cost is your match. So what we're going to do on the initial match is I'm going to use all your soft costs. So all the money that you paid to Keystone is going to be there. Keystone actually came in significantly under budget. So their contract was for slightly over $100,000. They came in at $60,000. So they still have $40,000 remaining for inspection on their initial contract. So I should actually say that, we thought they didn't know what they would run into, and it was a not to exceed. So we went in there. And shop drawings have been honestly very easy because they've given me exactly what we have specified. So it's not hard when you don't have to do an approved equal. And it's a current design, so it's not like I have 2024's model numbers and there's a new one in 25, and I got to see what did they change. It's honestly been, like, I go through it, the Rich Longcourt at my office actually goes through it, then it goes to me, then it goes to Keystone. So we try to flag it if it's not even close. They're a lot higher per hour than I am. We try to get them, we just returned a sender. I have not one. I only had to return one that didn't make it to Keystone. And Keystone hasn't flagged any major items. Most of their comments are just clarifications and reminders on the installation.
Right?
Yeah, but it's an existing facility. I don't know what it is till I get back there, but, and I will tell you, I've never worked with HP Frazer. I've been very impressed. But like their ability to, I said, we could talk about the sequence of construction. He's like, yeah, you're worried about the heat? I'm like, yeah. He's like, we're already on it. So they've, and they've brought things to the table that I hadn't even thought about, that were, they're nervous about, not nervous about, they just want to get dressed earlier on, so we have time, because we have stressed the need of being done by August 1st as much as possible, with August being my and September being my paperwork, so. But what we will do is we are going to train them kind of as we go through. Each one we're going to have training on. They'll have a master training at the end that everybody signs off on. Any other questions?
Thanks.
That's great.
Only other real minor are things is we're getting a lot of cleanup on minor development. My guys have really been pushing to get a lot of the kind of outstanding projects cleaned up. So like 400 West Elm, we got that closed out. 401, 433 Washington Street, they've got the punch list almost taken care of. Record drawings are being submitted already, so we're not chasing them down at the end. And we did issue the flow release because they've paid for things. We are going to have to track that because they pay their tapping fees on a per building by building. But once I pull the plug, it's going to be Ed and those guys basically saying, hey, the next building's in there and we'll get in. But I will tell you that Tom Go of KRE is an excellent communicator. I get a ton of emails from him, and then, he's a guy that emails you and 20 seconds later your cell phone rings. So that's just kind of where he is, but 127 East Elm Street, it's under review. I think we actually issued the review. I approved the review letter this morning. And 201 West 7th Avenue, we issued that plan review on 11/18/25. So other than the professional service agreement that you got tonight, I think we've kind of got everything out of our, it's just good it's a slow kind of time of year, and it's good to get developers to get their checklist done. That completes my report unless the board has any questions.
Any additional questions on any of the projects he discussed? Okay, hearing no questions. First item is to consider the application for payment number 1 to HB Frazer in the amount of $44,145. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. And then do I have a motion to accept the engineer's report into record?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Excellent. Okay, rolling right into our operation manager's report. Sir.
I'd like to announce that we were doing some looking into our prices for our labs, for all the sampling we do throughout the year. And we got some quotes from other labs and stuff. We found some savings there, but then another lab came in with an announcement of their price increases for next year. So it's a big difference. So I don't have the final numbers yet, but hopefully by the end of the week, we should see a significant savings from this year. So I just want to share that we should be seeing that go down. The only other thing I have is just to remind everybody about Friday, about the luncheon at 11:30 a.m., not p.m. And I hope everybody can make it. It's going to be catered by the Boathouse. So if everybody likes their wings, there's going to be plenty of wings there and other stuff. And that's all I have.
How
Excellent.
much do we currently pay for the lab? Like roughly?
Oh, geez. Off the top of my head, I'd say close to about 30,000.
And the savings, it's like half or?
It's going to be a lot. I don't have the final numbers in yet, but it's going to be,
Why is it so much cheaper? Do we know?
I think because they just got acquired by,
There's been a lot of movement of all labs getting merged.
Okay.
Or not merged, or bought out.
Bought out.
Or bought out.
It was MJ Ryder. So MJ Ryder was sold from a third-generation family business to a hedge fund. They paid a lot of money for it. And there is such demand on that because there's very few qualified labs that they just raise the prices until people walk away.
Oh, I see. The one we were using was acquired.
Yes,
purchased.
by a hedge fund.
Okay, I see. Okay.
And there will be Mr. Santa and Mrs. Claus on Friday.
Oh, really? He's a busy beaver this time of year.
Very busy beaver.
Huh.
So is she.
So we budgeted for.
She's
larger
keeping him
amounts.
on his toes.
Yes.
yes.
Do they actually lock in a price for some period of time? Do they give you the year?
1 year.
All right, so considering it's a decrease, it won't be a budget impact, right? So that, except for a plus. All right,
Positive variance.
it's a good thing, good thing.
I
You guys
also
are-
wanted to say, and I know Brent's probably going to talk about it more, amazing job on fixing the camera. Because I really didn't think that was possible,
Neither do we.
knowing what it's been through.
Who is
Before
the
I-
technician in that? Somebody's somebody's child?
That was a pleasant surprise to see that number.
That's awesome. All right, any other questions for operations manager this evening? All right, strong work this year for your team, so thank you.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to accept the operations manager report into record?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? And the motion will carry. Next up, the biggest items on the agenda are our executive director's report. We're going to start with,
Dealing with item number 1, consideration of resolution to amend the schedule of rates by increasing stormwater rates for all customers. You know, we basically started this process over the summer with Tyler, starting in August, informing the board where we stood with our stormwater reserves. And at this point, as I told you over the year, we're basically depleted. We knew this was going to happen when we started this whole program with the stormwater work in conjunction with the borough as being our, I want to say, company that runs the program for us to manage it while we oversee the capital, that it is essential to increase our rates. Like I said, we're very low in funds, and we do have projects coming up, and as Tyler gave us, all the future costs that are coming our way over the next 5 to 10 years, we got to start building our capital reserves. So as you can see before us, we did a 1-year structure for increase or a 3-year increase. My recommendation is go with the 3-year. That gives us a structure moving forward, gives us understanding what that means of staying within our budgets for the next 3-year plan. And then we'll revisit this, and we can revisit this, as you know, Michael has said numerous times, we can revisit this January 1st if we have to. But I think the structure-wise, if we do a 3-year plan, like we have done even with the sewer, it gives us understand where we have to stay with our means to ensure we're following a good budget. And I think, if you have any questions for Tyler, I asked Tyler to be present tonight again. I know this is more of a formality just to prove that we had all our discussions before. So again, I'll open up for the board to discuss your point of view.
anyone have any concerns with making it a increase over 3 years? So year 1 would be moving from $10 to $12.25. Year 2, 2027, would then take it from $12.25 to $14.50, and then in 2028, $14.50 to $17. Anyone have any concerns related to that? And at $17, at that point, will we be able to start then break even and actually putting in reserves?
Yeah, so we are envisioning money being able to be put into the capital improvement fund as soon as next year, but in 2027.
Can you turn your microphone on, please?
Whoops. So we are envisioning money being put into the capital improvement fund as early as next year, but at that $17 rate, we're expecting that to be able to be a steady rate based on our anticipated costs for the next 5 to 10 years.
We're doing a stormwater rates review, or no? That was for sewer only?
Increase, right?
No, rate increase we're doing right now, but we're also going back to review.
Review it?
The sanitary waste, yeah.
That was for the sewer
It's gonna-
only, that's not for stormwater.
That's
Okay,
correct.
yeah. that makes
Right,
sense.
because they were going to do the whole,
Yeah, that's just.
evaluation for the.
Yeah.
That'll be for sewer, will be for next year. Yep.
to piggyback on this conversation, just to make everyone aware, there have been different entities educating the public on stormwater increases all over the place. So if people have been paying attention, which maybe I'm not the average person, that I'm really high tuned to my expenses, it's out there. Like Greg Scott has informed people, like it's been on the news, like it is, people should be aware.
Okay.
See, I'm really good now.
In retrospect, and if you look at our most recent a popular street with the stormwater, where the borough found an issue, and then we're responding to it, that's coming out of our capital, which we have the funds available. So the way we have addressed our budget and the way we're working in conjunction with the borough and authority, things are working exactly like they should be. And a quick note is that's going to be done very shortly. We got all our avenues are lined up with SEPTA. But so in order to be functional for our capital reserves, as you can see, the recommendations there, and our ultimate goal is, even with with this resolution of the increases, is, hopefully we can self-sustaining with our capital, whatever transpires in the next 5 years. I know Tyler has mentioned, and amongst us, this does set us up if there's a potential of borrowing, which that would be discussed in 3-5 years out. But under this current structure, there's a potential borrowing, which we can suffice that through these fees in the future.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that the borrowing is anticipating the next round of MS4 requirements, which that's still up in the air, so we'll have a lot more clarity on that hopefully mid next year.
When would we actually have to borrow that money then?
I'm sorry?
When would you actually have to borrow the money then?
We would anticipate borrowing to start potentially as early as 2029, I would say. But the payments on that would start in 2030 or 2031.
I have a question. I guess it's more of a hypothetical. If we didn't put all this stuff in place for the stormwater and everything, would we have found that issue under the SEPTA tracks? I'm guessing probably not.
I would say, due to the fact that we have 2 individuals through our budget that we supply through the borough that's doing stormwater analysis all the time, there's a conjunction. If this procedure here, probably there's a good chance it would have not been found.
In which case, we wouldn't have found it until it was catastrophic.
And correct, that would have been under the borough.
Right.
And then fines and everything else.
And fines, insurance, and...
And I'll make it a hypothetical determination.
Yeah.
Right,
I
well,
think
yeah.
the means of how we're developing this is working. And even amongst this, we do expect some of our ends where I kind of have conversations with the borough manager where we're headed with the capital and doing other items as well as we move forward.
Well, that's where I was trying to go. I mean, without that, we have bigger problems, so...
Right, we might have to borrow more later if we
Well,
didn't
right,
do it
it's
right
pay me
now.
now, pay me later sort of thing, so better to be paying $17 a month than be on the news.
Correct.
Yeah. Good point.
Anything else on, like, I know we get the homeowners like $100 discount or something like that for giving them the rain barrel, or if they do a rain barrel thing. Is there anything that actually does that actually give us credit? Like if they do a rain barrel, like, is there anything like that that's, hey, if so-and-so
Yeah.
is very motivated to not pay $17 a month, is there any things they can do to reduce?
So a rain barrel, if talked about correctly, can be reported in your MS4 annual report. As far as like structural best management practices, if a private property owner would install a rain garden or a detention basin or an infiltration pit, that could directly reduce the costs for the next round or the current round of the MS4. Because they're treating their impervious essentially on site, so we don't need to account for that.
How many people have actually followed up on those?
I
3 barrels?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might not be a lot.
And we don't really have large enough properties to put retention basins and things.
Yeah, and that's something that we could look at, having a list of kind of smaller scale stormwater BMPs, or we could talk about potentially non-structural BMPs, which we can't necessarily take credit for, but are steps in the right direction as far as stormwater management.
Maybe we can connect with the EAC and get them to help educate and put that all together.
Great.
We have a liaison to the EAC over here.
Deep agent.
There you go. All right, any other questions related to the stormwater?
Now, this,
Rates.
the plan, we talked about communicating to the public. And is that in a digital newsletter? Is the newsletter digital now?
Correct.
Is that where the communication will be?
We'll have a communication to our newsletter, and we'll probably even make a mention on our billing as well.
On the bill? Okay.
On the
And,
website.
okay. And when we do the newsletter, the conversation that you just had with George about kind of a, like, hey, this was a proactive, this could have been so much worse kind of deal. Do we do any kind of like summary of the year of like, hey, this is all the good that the sewer authority's doing?
I mean, I'll be honest, Ed does an excellent job with the conjunction of our consultant that helps us out with our newsletter. We do that, and we can be more in-depth. I mean, we haven't really done a lot of focus on stormwater, but we can focus on the popular street, on the steps that we've taken in conjunction, how the methodology works from the borough to us, and provided.
I think
Quick
just
snatch.
an education of the public so that they can justify, yes, then I can see where my money is going to something good.
Okay, we'll use the popular, that'd be a good example to use it for our.
Yeah, and talk with the borough because, we have been trying to socialize our infrastructure in Conshohocken is old, and it's time to continue to look at the infrastructure. That's what's going on with our roads. That's what's going on with what's underneath the roads. That's why our roads keep breaking down because of what's going on underneath the roads. And it's not just mill and overlay to fix the roads. You got to fix what's under it. So we're working together as a partnership.
Okay.
So I think that would be good.
And I'm happy to help. Looking for stuff to
Well,
do.
yeah.
How does one get access to the newsletter? You just go online, or you have to sign up for something, or?
I don't know if they attach it to the bills,
Yeah,
but it is on their website.
it's on our website.
It is on the website.
Okay. I should,
It's,
I'll try to
I
read
think
them
it's
later.
pretty easy to find
Your name's on it.
website.
well, when I got the copy, I would read it, but now I'm like,
I don't get one either.
All you sitting with paper in front of you. Yeah.
All right, so you need a motion for the amending the schedule for the rate increase.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution amending the schedule of rate increase for stormwater.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All-
Perhaps the motion should include that it is for the 3-year period of time, beginning in January 1st, 2026, January 1st, 2027, and January 1st, 2028, so there's no confusion about which option you picked.
Got it. Okay, so we have a motion that will include all 3 years. Do I have a second?
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right.
Okay, the next item deals with the approval of the stormwater budget for 2026. So if you refer to,
You beat this up last month, right?
correct, and like I said, there's more of a formality. And again, Tyler's here for any questions. Our budget for stormwater as presented by HRG and through the borough, in conjunction with the borough, and authority is $980,035. $935.
Okay, and you guys talked about it last month.
Correct. And we've been talking about, I think Tyler presented this back in
Yep.
August, and he worked very diligently with the borough to make sure all there are formalities, what they're going to do for our contract, base our contract operations for next year, and they're a part of this process as well.
Was there any back and forth with the borough worth mentioning? Any issues they had or stuff that they got changed?
I don't think there was issues that they had necessarily. It was mostly us trying to understand their actual costs. So when we originally developed the stormwater program budget with the implementation effort, it was kind of a shot in the dark. So we made a lot of assumptions, and this is us, having some actual numbers to utilize as the baseline and adjust for, anticipated increases or decreases moving forward. So most of our conversations were just trying to get that understanding.
I still kind of have that question to you that I asked. Somebody at the borough kind of like owns the stormwater still for us. What's the single point of, if stormwater issue pops up, I guess you get the call first.
Correct.
But who's your first call at borough side then? Who's takes ownership on this?
Well, the borough would be, if there's any issue going on the streets with stormwater, say if something failed,
Yeah.
they would actually get the call first because they're working in conjunction. And if there's something major, say a stormwater in it, like Poplar Street failed,
Yeah.
we will get a call in conjunction to repair it, just like we did for this recent Poplar.
So there's a department specific to
Yeah.
stormwater. It's not just all mix and match, whoever's available.
Okay.
So the borough basically does our maintenance,
Yeah.
daily maintenance, cleaning stormwater inlets. And if something ends up being that it's in degradation shape or needs to be replaced, or we're putting a new stormwater inlets, this is where we'll come in conjunction. And we are actually working for next year, we'll be doing another project, just like similar to Poplar Street coming up next year, which is a part of the borough's budget, but it's actually going to be into our process for next year.
Interesting. So we're not paying it out of our budget, but it comes under our.
It comes out of our budget.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any additional questions for the stormwater budget for 2026? Okay, hearing no additional questions, do I have a motion to accept the 2026 stormwater budget as indicated? Total storm expense, $980,035. And then revenues. For 2026 will be $80,125? $80,125? The revenue?
Annual revenue?
Yeah, for 2026.
I have, before the delinquencies, $1,092,948.
Okay, the first line. Okay. Thank you. I was looking at the surplus deficit. Thank you. I put my glasses back on. All right. Do I have a motion to accept the stormwater budget as indicated?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
Do we need a roll call for this one then?
I don't think so. We're not spending money.
Nope.
We're just approving a budget.
Awesome.
Motion carries.
Okay. Number 3 is approval of the 2026 sanitary sewer budget.
Any questions related to the sewer budget as presented to us? I'm sure you did this all last month. Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve the 2026 sanitary sewer budget.
I'll second.
Moving right along.
All right, I have a motion and a second to accept the budget. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Great.
The fourth item deals with, as you recall, beginning of this year, there's a question by statement by the board to go out and look for an auditor. It was one of the first items at the beginning of this year, if I recall, back in January, February this year. The board specified to staff to go out and request for proposals, and we discussed this last month. We got numerous proposals, and staff is going to recommend to the board Mayor and Dussel, which represents approximately $16,000 a year in decrease in auditor expense. We contacted the references and all over the state, and there was not one concern other than they do a very good job. They have a good authority in township clients. On behalf of all the request proposals, we contacted all the references all across the board. So all the individuals that have given us request proposals are adequate, but based upon Shannon's recommendation is Mayor Dussel with this, and again, their references were very good, and again, the goal was, if I mentioned back this year, if we can get good product with reducing costs, that's where we're headed. And again, we can do it for 1 year, and if we are not satisfied as a group, we can change again. But again, I think they gave a good proposal to Shannon, and they're well diverse. The list is extraordinary for who they do across the state.
Where are they located?
They are located,
I took this home and read it all.
they're in Philadelphia, and they go across all the way to Pittsburgh. I think their biggest client is Pittsburgh border.
Well, you guys have to work with them, and you're satisfied with them?
Correct.
You work directly with them, you and Shannon.
Yes.
Any other questions about moving the auditor over to Mayor Dussel? And would you like to do it for 1 year to see how they do it for us, or do you want to go into a longer? Is there any cost savings in either way?
There's increases all across the board with all the request proposals. They're increasing, 3 to 5% per year, so.
I think we get it for one year for $2,000. If we do it 1 year, it's like 31,000 as opposed to 29,000 for the first year. I would prefer to do, personally, 1 year only. We did well, yeah, and I think we got good coverage from the previous group, it seemed, but this will give us a chance to make sure we like what we see from this one, or anyway.
Okay. Anyone opposed to doing 1 year? All right. Do I have a motion to consider resolution authorizing Mayor Dussel as the new auditor for the Conshohocken Authority for 1 year for 2026?
I'll make the proposal. I'll make the.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and the last item, I'd just say, this year went very quickly. We have a lot of items in motion, from Fred's job with doing our electrical grid, which is one of the most important items. And he's ahead of schedule already, and we can start it, which is good news for us. I think this was a very, and this is, I think, a very positive year. We minimized our risk compared to the year before, when we had a tremendous failure in the plant. And I think that shows in our workman's comp, shows in our insurances. I thought it was a very productive year, and we grew with our staff. We hired an individual with a college education in our union member staff, and hopefully he will grow with us. And again, next year is going to be, we got a lot of things I know coming from us with next year, with the stormwater projects, finish this Popular, potential one individual with our team retiring, which is another change in our structure. But I think this is a very good year, and our budget shows in our sewer that we continue to optimize and reduce our costs, with saving for the future with all these projects that are coming in front of us. So that's just to give us a quick stop. I'll tell you if it's negative, but I think it was a positive year, and we're continuing to improve our operation. And if you saw this year with our, even with potential, with our financial department having some issues with even our, with our health issues, we were ahead of schedule, which we started our budget back in May, knowing those, and that's why it's fortunate enough we actually talked 4 or 5 months about our budget this year, but I think it had to be done, especially we know what's going on with stormwater, and we'll see that next year with our wastewater potential evaluation going forward with HRG. So that would conclude my report. Other than I'd like to go to executive session, then that would close. We will not have any further business after that, so we can close up.
The only other thing that we'll be working on in 2026 is the evaluation of the West Conshohocken, the loan, and where we kind of stand with all of that.
Tyler and I had a meeting after our meeting last month to get all the schematics, how we want to proceed for their proposal, and that is part of the process.
Okay. All right, wonderful.
It seems like you guys and your staff have done a good job of like looking for ways to save money everywhere. It seems like everything's kind of being evaluated. I think that's, anyway, very good for this the borough here. So I appreciate and agree with what your statements are.
And the one last time, we started the whole process, and we'll eventually get Fred involved as we move forward with material matters. I would think probably in the next 3 months we'll be concluding their evaluation of what we can do for the future for our sludge, because that's our biggest cost of the future. And Fred, you know what's going on. Sludge is just going to be, we talked about it, we beat it to death. It's going to be increasing in 10 years.
Land application is, like I said, $38 a ton plus transportation. Landfill disposals, $174 to $198 a ton.
With off the cuff, we're hearing in the future it's going to be $300 to $500 eventually.
It is, just run out of landfills, and nobody wants PFAs, so.
We got it. That's our next major thing, and hopefully, in material matters, Ed's been working with them a lot of movement in that process. So we'll have hopefully a recommendation in the next 2 to 3 months for material matters, where we go with that. Prior to that meeting, I'll sit down with Fred to go over. But we know what's going to happen. But it's
the biggest expense you have is you're far from any farm fields. So you're basically going out to like Heidelberg, Wilmersdorf, that area, or you're going all the way up to the coal region in Schuylkill County, or they're using it for strip mine reclamation. So it's either strip mine reclamation, which they can do kind of all year round, or actually agricultural fields in there. But the good thing is you're primarily now a residential community, restaurants, things like that. You don't have the industry that you would have had 15 years ago. That's definitely your biggest opportunity.
That's great. Good job to the staff.
So we need a motion to approve the executive director's report.
Yep, so could I have a motion to approve the executive director's report into record?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. And that will conclude our 2025 year. Congratulations to everyone. Great year. With that, I will call a motion to call the meeting.
Well done.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.